Thanks, Ekta. Thanks for introducing. I'm Hope Audible. I'm
Yes,
actually
you are.
great, fantastic. Thanks a lot. I'm joined with Naveen, who is our APM expert. So probably next 6-7 minutes, we would like to take you a little on detailing about how and how the APM trends are really looking great in power industry. Probably that's coming from our experience, what we are working in. Anup, can you take it to the next slide? Can you share the slide from your end, please?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
No problem. Firstly, it is a great initiative. I think Ecubix team for this initiative, bringing up all the industry experts on a single platform. Basically, we're talking about APM trends in power industry. We would definitely want to see, how the digital transformation have been helping all the power generation companies globally. And also we'll deep dive on some of the aspects of the trends and also see that how it is kind of helping up the global companies and bring some more perspectives and experience to the team what we are here in the we joined. And since it's an open discussion, we can deliberate a little more in detail. Anup, next. Digital transformation trends in power industry. The latest survey, what was conducted with 200 senior executives of global companies, the expected productivity improvement of technology, use of technologies was expected to be 27% in next 5 years. Now this spans up to be a detailed structure about to understand how these digital trends are really performing, right? From the operations analytics to drive operational efficiency and performance. Now we look at the automating the processes to improve the efficiency, or we look at the asset reliability and optimization using predictive and preventive maintenance. Now coming up to the layer structure of utilizing the digital industrial asset lifecycle management. All these trends are kind of contributing towards the improvement and the goals set out to ensure that we are meeting up to the competitive way of working, since it's the world is changing drastically in terms of, and there's a larger pressure on the industrial assets, industrial operations, and industrial organizations to perform better. Anup, next. Now, with the new normal, and we have been hearing about the digital technologies, the acceleration of the value, how they are actually bringing up the cost by 5 to 30%, and also helping the overall industries to grow revenue by 25%. It's very important and imperative that the solutions, that digital technologies needs to have a fast and efficient way of support, which is impacting on how faster the data is accessible and the data is available for the people. Digital technologies also need to have more flexible and scalable working to ensure that they are flexible to adapt to the changes, how the market is changing, and also to the demands to meet up. Remote collaboration is one of the things which we've been seeing during the new way of life after COVID, collaborating across number of users, how the user data is getting utilized by the number of users wherever they are in the space, be it their operational users, maintenance users, their IT users. It's becoming very important that there's no need of the subject matter expert to be sitting in one place. He can always assist remotely. There are a lot of good examples are, the real case scenarios we have seen in NTPC, where during the COVID, they were able to really support their site teams from the central overall working using the PI system, where the data was completely analyzed. The collaboration was such that they were able to give all the exceptional details to the site people for to get the support part of it. Lastly, it is very important to have a secure way of sharing this particular data. Since we all know about the cyber attack perspective, it's becoming very important that the overall architecture and working needs to be designed in such a way that the overall data sharing becomes more secure. And that's where I think the video which showcased about the waterfall, I think globally the customers have been seeing that they tend to create the architectures to build a more safer network. Next. Now, use of industrial software and their adoptions and constraints is a larger topic which we've been seeing uh, with our experience working with all the global companies. While we talk about digital transformation, bringing up a larger analytics in a layered structures, we look at how the data is being utilized and is supporting to generate more revenue part of it. How the data sharing perspective is bringing up a larger perspective about bringing a cyber secure architectures. Also, very critical and important when we talk about adoption of digital transformation is about improving the remote workforce capabilities. Now, centralizing this workforce is also becoming a new norm, where the centralized structures are supporting the distributed operations and maintenance teams who are in the field, who can really focus on their day-to-day activities, while the central teams are actually giving them the larger perspective about the comparative working, the comparative operations, and the maintenance part of it. Very important, we started seeing the adoption part of it is to see that how do we really optimize the overall way of working, improve the efficiency of assets, also ensure that we are performing better to increase the revenues. Now, while the adoptions from a digital transformation part of it is in a positive note, and it's a need of the day, we also see from a constraint standpoint, from a financial revenue viabilities, how do we really span up those projects into the overall working? How do we can do more of the work activities with the less of the manpower? How do we really equip those skilled workers at the operations and maintenance to ensure that they are supported with a lot of the datas to do more work. Also, we'll also look at the many of the OEMs are like kind of giving a consolidated services based warranties, where in fact it becomes a little of a constraint where the data is kind of not shared across. That is becoming like a black box which only serves the services, but to explore particular data and get more value out of it, it always becomes a problem. We also saw a lot of challenges between the business and IT standpoint, from the understanding, from the need part of it, how they differ. But we also have seen that, from the OT IT integration standpoint, the things are getting, well worked in. Lastly, a very critical and important point of understanding from a big data, AI and ML, it's kind of very confusing always. Why do and where do we use the big data? What value it brings up, what value AI brings in and ML brings in. It becomes a very important decision for IT and OT teams to understand, how do we really fix these systems and to ensure that, we work on those. Anup, next. Uh, if you really look from the APM trends in the power industry, we look at a very comprehensive APM portfolio. Organizations can monitor their assets, identify, diagnose, and prioritize equipment problems. And as I mentioned, the changing market conditions and shifting technology landscapes are putting a lot of pressure on industry's business. Technology triggers are like industry or Internet of Things, big data analytics, mobility, workforce collaborations. All these are bringing the opportunities significantly to improve the reliability, efficiency, and safety. In addition, we also are aware that the aging infrastructure and the workforce is also driving this overall working. And in short, prioritization is required towards it. And to remain competitive in today's industrial markets, it's important that we are actively looking at how do we really work efficiently and avoid any cost before the failure occurs. Asset performance management solutions actually helps the personnel to exceed on the safety, reliability, and the performance goals. The idea is again to collect the data, analyze the data, and give the actionable outcomes where he can have an optimized, proactive, and optimized maintenance execution plan. As a result, the plant personnel can get empowered on how do the equipment failure occurs, or before even get the failure occurs, that can be reduced. So from its journeys, sorry, Anup, can you go back? From a journey standpoint, we always look at a reactive maintenance to a risk-based maintenance. We always share our experiences with our customers we are working with about how do they really span this overall journey from reactive to risk-based maintenance, right? To see that how do we really act on the plan-based maintenance, rule-based algorithms, and also AI and perspective analytics to predict impending failures. Now, these are the stepwise way of working, which has a larger impact, and we always look at building that particular way of working with our solutions. Next. Great. I think I would now hand over to Naveen. Naveen, please, you can take over.
Yeah,
Share your experience, Naveen, before you start. Thank you.
yeah, okay. Thank you, Praveen. Yeah, hi. I have been working with AVEVA for the last 1.5 years and working in the APM field for close to around 10 years now. And from the user's point of view, so the APM tool has been there and we are using in the power industry. So the main purpose of the APM is to increase the availability and the reliability of the assets, while at the same time minimizing the cost and the risk associated with operating those assets. So it brings an optimal balance between the under maintenance and the over maintenance strategies. The previous slide which just Praveen talked about is how do you achieve an optimum balance between the various you can say the maintenance programs which could be there for a typical power plant assets. And AVEVA can actually help you provide the entire spectrum of solutions, be it from say condition based maintenance, be it the AI or the predictive based maintenance, or be it the risk based maintenance, in which you actually devise the failure modes, the failure causes, the FMEA analysis for the entire, you can see, the asset class which you have for your power plant assets. So moving towards the entire APM blueprint of AVEVA. So we have three pieces put together: the asset strategy optimization, the asset analytics, and the asset maintenance. If you see, the ASO enables a risk-based approach to asset reliability, balancing the risk and the cost of safe and reliable operations by conducting the asset criticality assessment with reliability-centered maintenance approach, identifying the right maintenance approach based on these asset criticality, be it preventive, be it CBM, be it prescriptive. And all of this is coming from this standard asset library, which have close to 1,000 components, 1,500 failure causes, and close to 5,000 prescriptive tasks for a typical issue or a failure mode which is happening for an asset. So next is the asset analytics, which actually helping you reduce the equipment time, equipment downtime. In a way, it's giving you an early warning in weeks and months ahead of time. And we use the patented advanced pattern recognition or the ML based models, the machine learning models, to actually give you the actionable insights from the operating data of that asset. So it is a combination of predictive plus prescriptive analytics, and will be this is more of actually collaborating and giving you the monitoring and diagnostic capabilities for the asset entire asset class you have. Next is the maintenance, you can say the asset maintenance, which focuses on the executions of those uh, alerts or the notifications or the early warning. So this is more of a work permit solutions, mobile maintenance, enabling the workforce, making them the connected to the actual, you can say, the if operations which is happening at the sites. Again, the end goal is to improve the safety and the reliability while reducing the risk involved. And just to quote the statistics, around 10 to 20% overall OPEX cost reduction have been achieved by adopting the AVEVA APM solutions. In a way, 25% reduction in downtime and close to 30% reduction in the maintenance cost savings standalone for the actual OPEX costs which are happening for the maintenance of those assets. Next slide, Arun. So the next journey revolution. So this is an important slide. If you see how the APM solutions or the industry 4.0 or 5.0 is actually helping the power customers. So if you see the insight and the decision support through the big data, I mentioned the word of prescriptive analytics or the AML is actually giving the actionable information and the underperformance or the prominent failure causes for an typical assets, which is in turn is helping the operators or the frontline workers to act upon the various issues, balancing the traditional and renewable sources. Like there are softwares and solutions in the APM portfolio which are giving you the guidance on an advisory kind of thing to attain the optimum balance between the thermal or the conventional power plants versus the new renewable sources of energy. Streamlining innovation. The tool is actually, you can say, no code, no code and no algorithms in which the users can develop on various use cases, the problem statements or the problems which are underlying over there. So it's streamlining in innovation. It is providing you a platform in which the information or the tacit knowledge of your subject matter experts can be captured and can be churned into giving you the actions and the informations to act upon. In a way, it is actually helping you reduce the total cost of ownerships. It means the TCO gets reduced once you have the data churned in and the APM solutions are in place. Predicting the asset failures, I've already talked about, like giving you an early warning using the AI ML models, at least in weeks and months in advance, in which you can actually predict the asset failures, and more than that, the subcomponent level failures which could be there. And on top of that, the prescriptive actions. If this is an issue, what all actions they need to take. This could be from the OEM guidelines, and this is all coming as a package from the asset strategy library. Mitigating the workforce turnover. This is more empowering the workers, the frontline workers, with the digital tools, enabling them to the manual logging of the data, giving them the you can say the information, first side information in their tablet tools and all, to turn around the works they are doing. Improving the worker safety and performance, it is more of giving them the you can say the SOPs, the checklists in hand, in which they can actually prioritize the action or the maintenance tasks which are they supposed to do, and it will give you a complete, you can say, the information which all tools are required, but all, you can say, the precautions, the don't do's and don'ts for those type of maintenance which they are doing. And then the maximizing the return on the asset investment is more of about the how do you take the ROI from the technology or the software piece you are plugging together. Next slide, Anup. So there are many case studies, many you can say cases to example, and for the AVEVA APM we have close to around 500 gigawatt being monitored using our software. But for this illustration sake, we are just quoting two examples. One is the Indian customer, which is a Tata Power. So they have adopted the AVEVA APM solution, in which they are monitoring their, you can say, the thermal fleet, again in the gigawatt scale, and using them to actually reduce their unscheduled maintenance, moving from reactive maintenance to the proactive maintenance, and easing the information sharing between the different set of class, be it the site operator, be it the workforce, be it the plant head or the digital officer, and all, how the actionable information or the information is getting inside. So this is the implementation of AVEVA predictive analytics. And in the initial 25 months itself, they have got to around 200 early warnings, which are the actual, you can say, the actionable information, which is normally missed during the DCS or the normal, you can say, the conventional monitoring techniques which we have in our power plants. And there are, out of those 200, there are close to 60 smart catches, which are called, you can say, the exceptional, you can say, the early warnings or the anomalies detected using the technology, so that they can prioritize the action and take the corrective maintenance for those assets which are tending towards a failure. So this is actually helping you them to improve the equipment reliability as well as the performance, leading to the cost control and better MTBF. Next slide, Anup. Yeah, this is another example, which is of Sener. This is a Spanish company, and they have the world's largest thermo-solar PV installation. They are again using the AVEVA predictive analytics, the AVEVA APM suite, for their, you can say, the thermo-solar fleet, which is powering close to around 120,000 homes, itself supplying the renewable energy to them. Again, the focus is again on bettering the workforce, maintaining through the remote supervision. Maintenance without stopping the production means less downtime. They are able to do it by adopting this technology. Next slide, Anup. Yeah, that's it. So this is the summary of it. Thank you, everyone.